Because
You're allowed. You're allowed.
You've already made the mistake of classifying me in the class of your grandmother.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not classifying to the class of.
I wish the example that you gave was of your mother. Then I will understand. Now you gave an example with your grandmother.
But of course, when we say love in the past, we didn't really clarify. Is it a recent past or? Still doesn't believe you need to go. So no matter how much you put in there. We are in the month of love, and as you all know, it is important that we talk about love. I know probably this, there are people who started dating this month, the people who are already dating, the people who are getting married. We wish all of you guys the best. So it is just important that we get into the depth of how love works, what was there in the past, what is supposed to be done right now, and what we should expect in the future, because generations change and things are changing from time to time. I'm your host, Stephen Edgar Onyango, and I would like to welcome you guys to the Edgar Talk Show, which makes its debut today in the maiden show that we're having today at the August 7th Memorial Park in Nairobi CBD. With me, I have my guests, Diana and Nicholas, and of course, they're going to introduce themselves to you people. And you're going to get more insights into what they feel and think about life. Karibuni sana.
Thank you so much, Edgar. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Diana, who are you?
Like you said, I am Diana, a mother of one beautiful girl and one handsome boy.
Nice.
And I'm honored to be here today.
Nice. We're happy to have you too.
Thank you.
Mr. Nicholas.
You already introduced me.
But of course, I know that is not all the profile that you have.
Honored to be here. My name is Nicholas. I am part of this show. I am your guest today. Thank you.
Nice. And I just want to acknowledge some of the people that have really been able to help us pull up all this before we get into the discussion. We have Mpawangu Deliveries, which has been delivering flowers over the whole month. We have Sikiliza FM, which is a new radio that is basically entitled about, which basically cycles around youth, and of course love is part of it. And then we have Zazu Mofasa, which is covering our episode today. And above all, we want to say thank you to the August 7th Memorial Park, which has hosted us today. So now, into the topic. What do you guys think about love? How was it back then? How is it now? And where do you think it is moving to?
Where it is moving to is hard to tell. It is hard to tell, but of course now it's not as it was from way back when we were younger. And that doesn't mean we are old, but when we were growing up, love was different from how, I don't even think people understand what love is anymore. I think people are just, if it is marriage, if it is dating, if it is loving someone, I don't think people are really going into the details of wanting to know what actually love is. What does it mean to fall in love? What does it mean to love someone? You know, what does it mean to be loved? What should I expect? What should I give? Because I tend to think with what is happening nowadays, we have people just going in to get. Nobody is going, not nobody, but mostly most people are not going into the relationship wanting to know, as in having given a thought of what am I giving into it. It's what am I getting from it. And that is different from back in the days of our parent, our grandparent, of us when we were younger. You know, people, I don't personally have been married before, and I don't even remember thinking what I'm getting out of the relationship. Maybe I didn't even think much of what I am giving, but it was not, I never went in with this person has this, they can give me this is what I can, this is the milestone they can help me cross in my life, you know. Nowadays is what do you have? What are you giving me? And I think that is different from how it was back in the day.
Nice. That's a very interesting part. I love the part that you think things are a bit different, and probably you prefer the past generation's way of love compared to how it is right now.
They did it. They are the past generation, our parents, us being that we are, you know, anyone who is how would I say, 30 years and above, the way we interpreted love and how we fell in love, it's different with how things are done now. Wow. So I would definitely prefer falling in love the old school style.
I've got a question. I know I'm going to get back to you in a few, but let me just get views from Nicholas first. What do you think about this?
I had a thought, but now Diana is changing my thoughts.
Yeah.
Because one, I thought...
so sorry for that.
I'll first talk about what I thought.
Yes.
Because love is broad.
Yes.
So I thought that love is biblical. I know it's a direction that Diana had not thought of.
Yeah.
And she's now bringing the aspect of falling in love.
Yes.
So now that takes me out of my context of love is biblical. And now coming down to how we express love in the world. So one is love is evolving from where it started up to date. Yeah. So currently, love is trade. It is what you bring, then you get what you want. If you bring nothing, then love is limited, and the love is shared. That is why you find it is a slogan, and again, it is also happening. You realize, allow me to talk of the ladies, because now when we talk of love, then we don't have a common denominator when we have a lady and a man seated and discussing about love. Yeah. Because in this case, men are, let me use this word, they are donors in love. It is what you bring currently. That is what is happening. Because even when we talk of falling in love, in most cases, it's referred to women falling into love because of a man's responsibility. So things have changed. Unlike now what Diana talked about, Kitambo, things were different. You could just love, and there is no reason to love. I say, if you can give a reason as to why you love, then that love is conditional.
Can I let you give her a shot? Let's say you're a lady and you see a gent that probably soothes your heart. Can you make the first move and approach that guy?
Edgar.
Yes.
The question should not be, can you? The question is it happening? The answer is, it is very much happening in the current world. And that is why there is a lot of competition.
Just to cut you short a bit, I'm actually asking this because from your point is, women love you depending on how you treat them as a man.
Not how you treat them. They love even before they get the treatment. There's that perceived. They perceive, they look at a man, they say, this man looks like he can treat me well. So they make a move.
So is it a wrong thing for them to be the one to approach first?
The question on whether it is a wrong move for them to approach first, I would say the answer is no, it's not a wrong move. But depending on the motive of why they are now approaching. Because the motives are different.
Nice.
Yes.
Just to get back to you a bit, I kind of felt like you really preferred the old-fashioned love compared to what we have now. And of course, you said you don't know where the future will tell us about this. But I wasn't there in the past. But I was lucky enough to be with my grandmother, who used to tell me a lot of stories, including how she got married into the village that we now call our village. They used to grab them when they're going to kind of fetch water. And then they're taken into homes. And out of them, they become wives and all that. How do you prefer this?
You see now, you've already even made a mistake. Let me become the co-host.
Yes.
Because
you're allowed.
You've already made the mistake of classifying me in the class of your grandmother.
No, I'm actually not classifying to the class of.
I wish the example that you gave was of your mother. Then I would understand. Now you gave an example with your grandmother.
But of course, when we say love in the past, we didn't really clarify. Is it a recent past or the past?
I had not gone to your grandmother, please. But just to answer your question, of course, that is how they did it back then, because that was the norm, that was the way it was done, so they didn't even mind. And of course, if someone picked you from wherever they picked you from and took you to their home, it's because they had observed you, they have probably had a conversation with their parents about it, and it's okay, you know. But of course, now coming to our age, when I say I prefer falling in love the old school style, you can remember back then. Okay, you can't remember.
I wasn't there.
You're of yesterday.
Maybe you were there. You can tell us.
No, I was. No, okay. At least I know stories of my parents.
Yeah.
But I know what they used to do most of the times. If when my mother was getting married, my dad now, her person then, went and spoke to her parents first. But nowadays, by the time you're discovering your child is married, they have children. They are coming home with children. And that is when you're discovering, when you went to Nairobi, so you actually got married. That never used to happen. That's why I'm saying I would prefer the old school way where if I have a suitor, the person will come to my parents. For me, who is a Christian now, for anyone who wants to date me, you see my pastor first. But nowadays, it's not the way it's happening. Unashtuka tu, someone is pregnant and they are actually married. That is why I say I prefer it the way it was done, because they had a systematic way of doing it. There was step by step. You do this, go for rorashios, go do those things. Nowadays, people are getting married and giving rorashios when they're 10 years married. That was not the way it was happening back then. Actually, I remember I think last week on Wednesday, I went to see my mom. And she was having an issue with one of my brother's wives because she never calls. And she was very pissed. She was like, back in the day when I was getting married, if your grandmother was here, she would tell you, you do not go for a week without calling your mother-in-law. You do not go for how long without visiting your mother-in-law. If your mother-in-law tells you, I want you to call me, it means she wants you to go visit. And you would go visit instead of calling. But nowadays, mother-in-law atateta leo, kesho, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, and the person is not even feeling they need to go see their mother-in-law. You see, that's why I'm saying things are different from the way they were back then. And now that is on the setup of the ones that are married. But on the ones that are dating now, it's hard even to tell who you're dating. They are dating so-and-so. Tomorrow they have so-and-so. I have someone who was telling me, I have someone who pays my rent. I have someone who bought the car, it is his work to fuel. I have one who clothes me. I have one whose work is to buy my food. You see, now it is different from the way it was done back then.
I think it still goes back to what Nicholas was trying to say. What is the motive behind it?
Exactly. And there's something he mentioned, and I would like to clarify. Men are not donors. It depends. They are not donors. If you want to be a donor, you'll be a donor. You see, like now, let me say in the case of married men dating younger girls, what do they expect? Of course, they are donors. You know, you don't expect that the person is actually dating you because they love you. It's because of what you can give them. True. So the aspect of a man being a donor is different. And us having this conversation, it should not show as if love does not exist. It still exists. Real love still exists. It's only that in the aspects that the world is portraying, it makes it seem as if it's water under the bridge, you know. But the truth is, there are people who are genuinely falling in love the right way. There are people who are genuinely dating the right way and getting married and living right. It's only that the cases maybe are fewer and not in the open as of late. I think I probably had 4 or 5 cases of celebrities that are breaking up, even two. You know, I'm tired of you, I move on to, and I'm telling you, you see it today, and then tomorrow the person is dating someone else, and it's everywhere.
They move so fast.
I'm telling you, they move so fast, you're wondering, why did you get married in the first place? Why, you know?
But don't you think that maybe by the time they are getting to this point where they're breaking up, already it's too much to the point, somebody already has an escape route? Because how do you just get from one relationship directly into another one? Probably this is something that has been there, or maybe that next relationship is the reason why this other one is falling.
That could be so. But I also, and I'll also, of course, give Nicholas this to answer as a man. But for me, as a lady, I think it's where we are having people getting into relationships with, if it does not work, I have this other option. And that is already 80% of that marriage surviving is gone. Because nimeingia, and I'm saying, if this person does not work, if they don't, you know, I'm going with my list. If they do not fulfill this list in such and such time, I will move on to the next one. I can always get out, especially now when we are in the era where ladies are we are financially okay. Most of us are financially okay. And I'll be like, if you cannot satisfy me in this way, then I can move on to the next. But for most of the ones that actually work, I believe they get in with the fact of, if this marriage doesn't work, it's because he didn't make it work, not because I didn't make it work. I go in 100%, not with, if it doesn't work, I have this other option.
That is nice. That is nice. Mr. Nicholas.
Yes, sir.
who holds the center in a relationship?
Before I respond to that question, I like the direction we are taking. And Diana said men are not donors. But I also like her explanation. Because she said in the world we are living in, there are people who have people who provide for food, fuel, salon, and all that. I'm also happy that she's referring to the ladies in this case. So that is number one. So now this takes us back to
the ladies also who do the same?
I don't know. No. Men, we don't.
As a man, have you tried?
I know one. They're there.
She only knows one, but she talked of so many ladies. She knows of one man, but so many ladies. So that's fine. And Edgar, issues of relationship. I want to be honest with you. Because we are in relationships, we've been there, and we will still be there. The fact that maybe a relationship did not work, it does not mean you cannot start another relationship. Then she talked of, okay, we talked
how long should it take?
I don't know. How long it should. Let me tell you, there's no formula for love. There is no formula. And, you know, she said, Kitambo, not even Kitambo, because now when I say Kitambo, she will think of, you talked of grandmother. So she said, there are different ways of moving through the process of either love or marriage and all that. And she talked of coming, seeing the pastor and all that. But I also want her to understand, and all of us to understand. We don't want to mislead anyone in this. But it is important if that is where your values are. But there are people whose values are not there. Does it mean if you don't take that way, maybe it will not work? That is the first question. The other thing is, if I don't want to forget what she said, because she brought in the issue of the mother-in-law and all that. It is very important. It is very important to respect parents. But I also feel this institution is between two people. I don't feel it's okay now to have other people who come and maybe dictate things or show ways of doing things. The best relationships that work is where the two people sit and make decisions without any external influence. Because if they have issues, they will deal with the issues, just the two of them. Now, back to your question was?
Can I counter that? Can I?
Okay, you can. I want us to be a bit brief now because I want us to take a small break.
We cannot be brief because we want to address this.
Well, it's fine. It's fine.
No, mine was, I think when I talk of, someone saying my pastor, being able to go, it's respectable for you to go. If you intend to marry someone, whether male or female, it is nice to let the parent know that I have intentions with this person. But when I talk about you coming to see my pastor, that is me. That is my way of doing it. And for me to state that was us having a system where we are not just cohabiting for the sake of cohabiting, and then where it doesn't work. You go home with 3 kids, and your parents are there wondering where did they come from, So I think it's
how did it happen?
How did it happen? When? When did it happen? And that is what is happening even with our young people. You have someone with the notion of them thinking they're in love, or only for them to go live together, and then when one is pregnant is when they're kicked out. They go home and their parent is wondering, you were married when, how, So I think it's us setting a system even as young people to make sure that actually there is accountability. Someone knows I am with this person. If I decide to cohabit with this person, whether I want to marry, the right way, like weddings and stuff, or courts and stuff like that, at least let someone be accountable, whether you're a parent or someone. Let someone know that this is the person I am with, this is the person I have chosen, so that at least there's a system of accountability.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. What we're saying is because other people are listening, and they'll take this message. The summary is okay. Let someone have someone who is, accountability is important. Yes, that is the word. Accountability is key.
It's important.
But we must agree that these things are happening. And especially, we come from the slum, my friend. And some of us are born in Nairobi, brought up in Nairobi, and Nairobi is home. So you see, so it is important, but again, it goes to what do you, where is your, what do you believe in? Yeah. What are your values? Yeah. If your values are in the church, for example, Nicholas here, that is where my foundation is. So I will go that way. But spiritual parents should be honored. Biological parents should be honored. Yeah. If there are other people who you can also bring for accountability, it is very important. So in this forum, in this talk, maybe my recommendation, even to the young people who are not married and who are planning to marry, please don't just go and cohabit. Don't just go and get pregnant. Because that is now what is happening. Yeah. And Edgar, the ladies, sorry to take you back there. The ladies want kuzalia wanaume.
She'll be countering you very soon.
It is true. Yeah. Ningetaka kuzalia huyu mwanaume.
He should stop putting us in one basket.
No, okay, not all the ladies, but where we come from, these things are there. Yeah. So if you don't address them, because this is a generation that is coming up, and it is there. So unasikia, nataka unizalie, then inakuwa ni form ya mtaa. Madem fulani alipata ball. So form ni kupata ball.
Do you think young people getting into relationships, do they at any particular point ever have thoughts of children will come along the way, or how do we plan for this even before you start dating somebody? Do you think this is probably crosses young people's mind that maybe as I get into relationship with this person, I need to think of how are we going to plan about our children, how are we going to plan about the education of our children, how are we going to plan about the investment that we are supposed to make in children?
I would say to answer your question, that's a very broad, it has a very broad answer to it. And for me, it goes back to us, I think most of us young people, not really thinking about what love is. Why do I need it? Yeah. Why do I want it? Because what is happening, to be truly honest, in the family setups that we have right now, either some parents are not present, or if they are present, they are abusive, especially if you happen to come into the slums. Yeah. In my side of town, the problem we have is parents not being present. But in this other side of town, the parents are present, but they're not raising, they're not parents. Yeah. You know, they're not being parents. Yeah. So it depends on which part of the society you come from. And for me, I think it's us, most of the young people now are, the notion of falling in love, most of them, I don't even think they go in thinking about love. Yeah. I don't even think it's something they think about. Most of them are trying to run away from something. Yeah. Like I remember dating someone. I don't even want to say the year, but it is a long time ago. But you know, I remember dating.
We might be knowing him.
Someone might start counting. You know, but I remember dating someone because at some point my dad became very alcoholic. He could drink, like proper drinking. You know, the one, my dad would buy crates of beer. Yeah. My dad was a party person. Until today, he's a party man. Yeah. But his parties are not for outside, for bringing parties home. Yeah. So he would buy crates of beer. Then brown beer was the thing, and whiskey. You know, he would, you know, anazipandilia kwa nyumba. My mom knew, akifika ni sato. She knew her work is to cook and to boil and make sure the soup is ready, because wamechinja, wamefanya nini. That was my dad. Yeah. And at some point he became too alcoholic that I dated someone running away from what was home. So we have to understand that some people now, most of the people, the young people that are dating now, they are dating trying to run away from something. Yeah. So even the aspect of love, it's not something that they have. I'm telling you, love is one thing that has been watered down so much that ukiuliza mtu, even for the ones that are actually dating with the intentions of, you know, moving on to the next step, when you ask them what love is, what do you mean you love this person? What exactly do you love about the person? They don't know. Why? Because love is not something that is talked about in our homes. Love is not something we are experiencing in our homes. And now when you send a young person to college or to high school, they are trying to run away from the chaotic scene that is at home, and whoever receives them is the one they go with. So they don't care whether the person drinks, they don't care whether the person is adulterous or whatever kind of character they have. Does the person appreciate them? Does the person, love them for who they are? Does the person even know who they are?
Yeah.
Because most of us are hiding who we are from the people we claim that they love us, you know. So most of the people, it's not actually love what they are thinking. They are not thinking about love. They are not even after love. They are just after another environment that is outside whatever their environment is. And they are doing that, but they will, if a married man is who has received me, that's the one I'm going with. Because that is the one that is at least showing ananipenda kidogo.
Wow. The discussion is getting hotter and hotter, and we'd like to take a small break, so that you guys can also ease off a bit. Yeah, also take a cup of water. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the Edgar Talk Show on YouTube channel, and also follow our page on Facebook. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Edgar Talk Show, and we just want to delve directly into the question that you guys went before you answered. I asked the question, who holds the center in a relationship?
Both people.
Why do you say so?
Why should it be one?
I do feel like the people who kind of feel like because you're the one who approached me, it is your responsibility for the relationship to work.
It's a relationship. It's both of us. You see, it's. I like when you break down relationship. It's relation is connecting. If it's a ship, a ship takes you somewhere. So relationship is something that is transporting you somewhere. So if we are both headed somewhere, then we both have we took on our responsibilities. I don't have 60%, and my significant other has 40%. No, we agree. This is, you see, when you start getting into a relationship with someone, the right for the ones that are doing it in a sane manner. You sit down and you discuss, this is where we are. I like you, you like me. We've decided we want to date, we want to move to the next step. Whether it's a young person doing it or it's an older person, the formula is the same. Yeah. We sit, we discuss. You like me, I like you. We want to date. Where are we going? Like for me, I'll speak for myself. Me, you have to break it down. Yeah. Where are you headed as a person? Yeah. And I will tell you where I'm headed as a person. Yeah. What is my vision for life? What is yours? Where are they connecting? Where are we going? Then from there, step by step, we decide on which is your part to play, which is my part to play. That's why I have weaknesses that you are strong at. You have weaknesses where it is my strength. So we complement each other. So there is nothing like who holds the center of anything. No, if we are headed the same direction and we are doing it right. Now specifically speaking to the ones that are doing right, not the ones that are trying, atiwacha tuone kama ita work. Yeah. Not leave those ones. Those ones don't know where they are. Try and error ones. The ones of tuanze tu tuone kwenye tunaenda. Hakuna tuone kwenye tunaenda. For the ones honestly, if you want a relationship that will stand and will work, you need to know where you are as an individual, where the other person is. Where am I headed as a person? Yeah. And where are you headed as a person? Then when we discuss, we can merge and decide tunaenda the safari moja. So hii ni 50-50. Hakuna I hold 60% and you hold 40%. No, I don't think that is right. Even to this notion of which I see a lot, ati my better half. Me, I don't believe in this thing of better halves. I'm not a half. Yeah. If I'm coming as a whole person. Yes. I have worked on me. By the grace of God, I have worked on me. I know who I am. I know where I'm headed. I'm coming in 100%. And you yourself, you better come also 100%. Because the problem is, what if you discover your other 50% along the way and it doesn't include me? Siko patweyo are the other 50% that you find out about yourself. So I think people need to avoid this. You bring this, and then you give me this. No. Tuko hapa, we are dating, we decided, where are you going, where are we going? I bring my 100%, you bring your 100%.
Nicholas, do you hold the same views? Is that your opinion?
He looks like he does not.
I really felt like he really want to have a different opinion.
Yeah, sure. It is 50-50. Yeah. Everyone has a role to play in matters relationship. Yeah. And for it to work, then both the man and the woman must play their roles. About the better half, I also don't know the origin, but I think it's because of the rib. So because she's a Christian, you should also
take it in that direction.
Take that direction.
No way.
It is an hypothesis. I'm not sure.
Do you guys ever believe that you came from a rib?
I will speak as a Christian because that is the gospel I subscribe to. We did because the Bible says that God put Abraham to sleep Adam to sleep, and then from his side that's where we came from. Nice. That is where Eve was made from. So for me, who believes in the Bible, I believe so. For anyone else who has any subscription of some other, what do you call them, religions, we respect that as well. But for me as a Christian, I believe so.
Nice. Nicholas, I have a question for you.
That's a good submission. Yes, so she accepts.
that does not make me a half. No.
Nicholas, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You are in a relationship, and then along the way you feel like you really don't want to be part of this anymore. Is it a bad idea to tell your partner you want a quit, or is it something that just must be forced to work, or just there must be a way to make it work?
Edgar, that's a hard question, but I will try to respond to that question. I might not give a direct answer, because I know there are people who are watching this show, they are listening, and there are people who take what I say. My feeling is, I know impossibilities can turn to be possibilities, because we also believe in a God of possibilities. However, I strongly feel that if it is not working completely, because for me to come and say it is not working as a man, or maybe Diana, and by the time we were starting, we were in sober minds, and we've come to a point that we feel it is not working, then that means it has been a process. So don't say it is not working because of one mistake. Don't. Mistakes, no one is perfect in this world. But I will advocate for, if it is not working, seek counsel. Try your best. Make efforts, but don't die in it.
So don't die in it. Explain that.
That is after. Don't die in it is after a process of consultation, prayer, involving people, and all that.
And it still doesn't work.
In it. It's not the first thing I said.
Of course, it's the last thing. Yes.
Yes, but that means you have tried. But the moment you sense
is
danger,
it you have tried or both of you have tried?
Both of you. Of course, I mean both of you. And both of you should also be intentional. Should be deliberate. But if at any point I realize that I am trying to do my best, but maybe the partner has already decided, because you see, there are times you sit and someone has already decided, whether you try or not, I have already made up my mind. And this is why we have had cases of people dying because of love. Don't die because of love. We only had Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. That was agape. No one else can express agape love, my brother. So please try. Start it the right way, because that is where the starting point is very important. The foundation you put is very important. And that takes me back to the conversation we had before break. How does it start? Where do you begin? What is the foundation? Who is involved? Who are accountable? And all that. So if you have that chain, that means before it breaks, then the same chain has been followed, just to ensure that things are working out. But if you reach to a point where now one's life is at danger, it is not working. I'm not saying quit, but that point should not come.
And to you, Diana, there should be a lot of trials in between first. You have to give a try before eventually it gets to a point where you feel, now I'm no longer safe in this. So I want us to continue from the point of I'm no longer safe in this. I think I need to quit. What is the best way to do this? Because we've seen so many stories coming up. Of course, I know along the way in the love journey, there are a lot of things that come from both sides. When we quit, when we call it a quit, how is it supposed to be resolved? Whatever I gave you as a gift, or whatever you gave me as a gift, should I take it back? should I retain it with you?
Personally, if you give me, it stays with me. Because I didn't beg you to give it to me. Yeah, I didn't.
But you were mine then. Now you're not mine.
No, there was no. You see, then
maybe he gave you because he loved you, and he not even because he loved you, because he felt you loved him.
No. But see, at the end of the day, you might as well have put that condition that this is only yours for as long as we are together. The day me and you we are done, then you give me back what is mine. Because what happens to the time I spent with you?
So what happens if I tell you that the day we are done, I'm going to take back probably a car that I bought for you? Are you still going to be part of this relationship?
I won't.
Or that vehicle is the reason why you're going to have to cling on it, even if it's toxic?
I know where you're going with this whole story of the vehicle. And whatever they decided. But at the end of the day, as long as you didn't put a condition to your giving me anything, then me deciding not to give it back to you, it's still my choice. You can't force me to give it to you but if you still do put a condition that I'm giving you this on the condition of this and this, personally I wouldn't receive it, because that's easy to be a gift. That's manipulation. And for me, I believe, going now to your question of safety, I think it's wisdom. Relationships, no, I wouldn't say marriage, because it's basically relationships. I know people that have been battered by their boyfriends. They are not actually married. You live in your house, I live in my house, but every time you happen to meet somewhere, I think there was this issue of someone being slapped all the time in public. You know, I think it's wisdom. It goes back to the place of why do I have to vumilia? What do you say vumilia in English? What is the word for vumilia? Persevere. Thank you. Why do I have to persevere in a relationship that I can do without? Because at the end of the day, if my life is at risk, then it is not worth it. Then I walk out. But now it has to be, you have to really justify to yourself as to why you think your life is at risk. Because risk here doesn't generally mean that the person will kill me. It could be emotional. Maybe you're traumatizing me emotionally that I can't even focus if I am working. Yeah. You can't be you can't be walking and I am sober. If I'm driving, I'm almost hitting the next car because I'm thinking, well, I'm going home to this person. Not because he will batter me physically, but emotionally he's traumatizing. I think one has to really sit down with themselves and decide what is the harm in staying in this relationship.
But I do feel like at times it may be a good decision, I think, at the end of the day, when you feel like it's not really working for you, in the essence of it doesn't give you peace, you don't feel secure anymore, and you kind of feel like you really want to walk out of this. But now the issue comes in where you as an individual, you've already made your decision, you want to walk out. But now the other guy still doesn't believe you need to go. So no matter how much you plead with that, I think I am not part of this, I just want this to end, I really need to move. But the other guy still clings on. I think a few months ago we had a very sad story somewhere that I'm not going to mention the name. There is a guy who had a girlfriend. Of course, they had like 2 kids. And then the lady, I think they used to have a rank shed there, and so the lady had to kind of walk out of the relationship and got somebody who loved and really cared for her a lot. And so she got pregnant for that guy. But you see, there is still children in between. So randomly the guy would ask, like, I want to see my children. And of course, you have that right, of course, to see your children, whether you guys are in good terms or not. So the lady decided to take the children to the guy so that the guy could see the children. Upon taking the children, the guy stabbed the lady and killed the lady, the pregnant lady. And the guy is still on the run up to now. He's never been found. So it gets to a point where I really want to walk out of this, but at the same time, I fear what you might do if I really walk out.
That's why I said it takes a lot of wisdom. You see, now that is not something that you can advise generally for someone to decide to step out of a relationship, whether it's a marital one or it's a dating. Like I said, there are people who are being battered and they are dating. You know, we have people in school, in high schools, you know, in colleges that they are dating with someone and they are continuously being raped by the person, you know. But now it's for the person to decide the wisdom that is in it, because this is not something that you can advise generally. What, depending on the relationship that you have with the person, what is the wisdom? Do you need to involve a third party in this? Do you need to go to the police and get a restriction order towards the person? Because I remember an instance where I was dealing with a couple, and the only solution that we had, because I remember she called, that was actually last year, a friend of mine. She called me and told me my husband, I knew the husband had been drinking a lot, drinking, almost one time stabbing the security because I think of delaying to open the gate for him, you know. And I remember the only solution we could come up with was her. I had to get, because I was at work, I had to get an Uber for her kids who are in school. I instructed my brother to go with an Uber, pick the children from school, bring them to my house, because now their house was no longer safe. So they came to my house, and now the mother had to go to a police station and report against her so-called husband, this and this is happening, and he got a restriction order. He was actually arrested and given a restriction order. You don't go this far with the family. And my kids, the kids stayed with me for a few days before it was safe enough for them to go home. So I think a lot of wisdom applies, because like for the case you gave, it should have been wisdom for the woman to know how this man is. Because if I've stayed with a man and I decide to step out, whether my boyfriend or my husband, whoever he is, then I know how the person is. For me to decide to step out, I know the measures I need to take. If I have children, I know the measures I need to put in place. If I have family members, if I know he threatens me, I should be wise enough to know the measures that I need to take. Because then love is no longer part of the game. It's not part of it. You should know that even if he claims to love me, then his interpretation of love is wrong, because love should not do you, it should not harm you. But now if he's interpreting he's loving me as causing me harm, then he's misinformed. And I need to be wise enough to know this is the step I need to take. I have children involved, this is what I need to do, this is how I can protect them. And now with that involved, you will know what to do. And I think peradventure you decide to move on with someone else, I think it is wisdom for you to let someone know that is close to the person, so that peradventure they decide to come after you, they know there is someone. And let the person that you are now decided to deal with, or to date, or to do whatever, let them know that I had this person, I was married to this person, I have children with this person, I was dating this person, and this is how the character is, this is how the person behaves. So the next time you see them, if he's a fighting person, don't even bother trying to argue with the person, because you know what the aftermath of, I had to use that word, you know what it's going to be. So I think a lot of wisdom is involved. Know the person you're with, know the person you're walking out from, know what they can and what they can't do, and then apply wisdom when it comes to all of that.
Wow. Nicholas, I can see you really listening to this. Guys, love has no boundary. And I know the message might seem like we're just targeting the young people, but probably they're also all the people who are out there struggling to cope with their love. And so it is just my wish. Nicholas, I want you to look directly to the camera and give your final word to anybody who probably needs an advice on how to take care of their relationship, marriage, or love that they're beginning.
Thank you so much. I would want to say one thing. Love is a process. It's not an end goal. And it is important always to realize the red flags. The moment you ignore the red flags, they will be replicated during marriage, and then you will remember that such a thing happened, but you did not take action. So red flags are very important in relationships. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You good? And Diana, I want you to give us your final word. Any advice that you have for couples out there? I won't say young couples out there.
For me, it would be love is a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing when it is done right. It's a very beautiful thing when it is done right. There is no, whether you're legally married, you've been married for how long, whether you intend to get married, whether you're dating someone, love is a beautiful thing. But you have to do it right. You have to don't get into falling in love without knowing what it actually means to fall in love. Find out first. What does it mean? What do I expect from this person? What am I going to give in this relationship? Don't just get from the relationship. What am I going to give in it? What am I expecting? You know, my weakness, can his strength cover my weaknesses? Can my weaknesses cover his strengths? Are we in it together? Don't just get in that I love the person. Are you in it together? when you are in it together, then you are guaranteed it is going to work. You are going to make it work. But it's a hard thing to make it work when you just got in by yourself. Step in with both your feet. Don't say, I'm dating this person, I'm marrying this person, I'm staying in this marriage, if this and this. Don't put conditions. Just step into it and make it work. Go with the mindset of making it work, and it will work.
Wow. Thank you so much, my guests. Nicholas and Diana are the pioneer guests of the Edgar Talk Show. This is our maiden show on our debut today. And we really appreciate you guys for creating time to be with us here and to share with us your stories. There is somebody who really needed to hear what you guys have said. And I'm very sure all of them are really going to appreciate this. Thank you so much for being with us. We just ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Edgar Talk Show and also follow us on Facebook at the Edgar Talk Show. We also want to appreciate Zazu Mofasa Photography for being responsible in covering our episode today. And thank you for listening to us, and keep watching because more is coming. Asanteni sana. I've been your host, Stephen Edgar. See you guys next time.